Judy, tell me, why is the Dovecote and the buildings here significant in Willington?
Well, they're the only National Trust historic buildings in Bedfordshire, and they were built by a gentleman called John Gostwick, who came to our village in 1529, and he purchased the manor house, which sits just behind the stables and our beautiful church, St Lawrence Church. He apparently helped restore our parish church, which was in a poor state of repair. He increased the size of his manor house, and then he decided to build the wonderful stables opposite, and then lastly he built the Dovecote. And he was a very ambitious man, and he sort of rose in the service of first Cardinal Wolsey and then of King Henry VIII, and he became King Henry VIII's treasurer. They believe the stone became available from the Bedford Priory. King Henry VIII was responsible for the dissolution of the monasteries, and when the monastery was pulled down at Bedford Priory, John Gostwick could avail himself of the stone because he was a rich man. So we believe they floated the stone down by the river Greytoos, which sits just behind here, and that was the only way they would have done it in those days. So the stone is recycled, so they were recycling in those days. The stables is rather a grand building for horses. You can see if you go inside that it has been used by horses, but we think it may have been a house for extra guests. King Henry VIII came to our village twice, and in was it the second time, he knighted John Gostwick at a Privy Council meeting. So this big rich king was coming to our little village, so we think he built these two buildings to impress King Henry VIII.
And the Dovecote, what's inside there?
The Dovecote is divided into two halves. It has 750 nesting boxes in each side. The idea of the building then, obviously pigeons were a source of meat, and I think they used to distribute some of them to the poor. I can't myself imagine if there's 1,500 nesting boxes with 2 adults in each plus young squabs, the noise would have been horrendous and the amount of pigeon droppings horrendous to keep clearing out. But they obviously it was like a big food larder really, and we think it was a bit of a whim by him. He was rich and he could do it. But it's rather amazing. The style of it is sort of Flemish, because John Gostwick went to France to meet the French king, and it's a Flemish design with the stepped gables, and the stepped gables actually help the birds. If the weather is bad, they can shelter, or if it's nice, they can perch on them. So the step gables do help the birds. And the idea of the building is they go through the louvers at the top and go down through the loft down into the main part and find their appropriate nests.
How can visitors come and view the Dovecote?
Well, they can come on the last Sunday of the month between 1 and 5 p.m, and we serve teas in the church, which is beside it, so that it helps give people something more to do. You also can ring my number, which is Bedford 838-278. You can contact the 2 immediate neighbours who are beside the Dovecote, and if you happen to find them in, you can get access then. But other than that, it is really by appointment.